Hi everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Juan, I am just one reader, and I am here with another recent reads video. I will be discussing today books numbers 6, 7, and 8 that I have read so far this year, 2018. And those will be The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry, The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes, and The End, which is the last book in a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket. So, let's start from the very beginning, a very good place to start. The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry was one of those books that I started reading with a lot of trepidation and apprehension and a little bit of anxiety and pressure because everybody knows how hyped this book is. It came in to my life with a very high reputation, a very big reputation, a lot of popularity from everybody who's read it. Everyone seems to enjoy this book immensely, so there was a lot of pressure involved in reading this book. But as it turns out, I loved this novel. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but mentally for me it's more of a 4.5 out of 5, so it's a very high 4. It was near perfection. I really adored the characters, the themes of not only feminism but also this kind of contrast or conflict between tradition and progress, religion and science. There's this whole idea of myth and legend and reality. Oh man, this is just a very complex, very rich novel. It is absolutely endearing and lovely and beautiful, atmospheric. The language is absolutely bafflingly great. I really loved Sarah Perry's turn of phrase. And it's all about the characters. The characters are all lifelike. They feel like real people that leap off of the page. Each and every one of these characters has a personality. They have their own struggles, ideals, opinions, all of that. So I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, but it was an amazing book that I highly recommend. I should also say that I posted a separate book review for The Essex Serpent. I highly recommend that you go and check it out in case you are interested in hearing more of my thoughts with more detail on this magnificent novel. Then the next book that I read was The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes, and this was just such a spectacular experience for me. This is actually the first book of 2018 that has received 5 stars from me. This was everything that I expected from a novel and more. This is exactly the type of reading experience that I adore. It is a very short, compact little novel. It comes in at no more than 170 pages, and the author, Julian Barnes, who, by the way, won the Man Booker Prize for this novel, manages to paint the story of a man's life and then so much more. This is such a complex, intriguing, wonderful novel that I really cannot wait to read a second time around just to re-experience everything. This is the story of a man who is in his 60s and he receives some kind of document that causes him to reminisce and look back on his life when he was younger, when he was in high school, and he had this group of friends, and one friend in particular who got involved with one of his ex-girlfriends, and there's this whole idea of this whole conflict that happened between these characters in the past, and how that conflict sort of lives on in the present. Now, what I loved the most about this novel was the language, the atmosphere, the writing style, and the format, the way that Julian Barnes is able to capture these little fragments of memory, and he really paints us the picture of a man's complete life from beginning to end. It's incredible how he does it in such a compact way. I think that's that has to be one of the hardest things to do as a writer. I also loved the characters, but most of all, I think I really appreciated the themes. The biggest theme in this novel, I guess, would be that one of memory and history and looking back on your own history and people's histories and just history in general. There's this entire discussion that the characters in here have about how your experience and how your personality, how everything that you are colors your vision of the world and your vision of how things happened, and therefore your memory and just memory in general is not absolutely precise. And this book really plays with that idea, with that notion of subjectivity in a way. I really adored this. This is one of those novels that if I were a teacher of literature or something like that, I would like to teach, because this is just so great, and I gave it 5 out of 5. And guess what? I also made a separate book review for this. It's available on my channel. Go check it out. And then the last book in this recent reads was The End. This is the last book in a series of unfortunate events, which is a series that I had been rereading for the past year, more or less. And so this was the culmination of that experience. And I gotta say, this was one of my favorite books in the series. Overall, I think the conclusion was pretty satisfying. I really liked it. I am okay with the way things ended. I admit there are some mysteries that were not fully explained, and I will not claim to understand every single thing that happened in the series. I don't know if that was intentional and deliberate from the author, or maybe I just didn't pick up on everything, or maybe the author didn't handle everything as well as he could have, should have. I don't know, but still I think this is a series that, you know, that the most important thing to enjoy in this series is the characters and the weird, crazy, whimsical adventures and the settings and the villains and the guardians and all that. So I really enjoyed it. I think I gave this book 3 stars, which is very good for, you know, for this series. I think it's a very high rating, and overall I enjoyed it, and it's a series that I really liked going back to. So guys, those are all my recent reads for this episode. I am looking forward to reading all your comments in the comment section down below. I am just one reader, and I will see you next time.